It's all well and good having terminal-based virtual machines. However, really, what we really want is a GUI-based one. So what we're doing here, first of all, is we're downloading the Fedora Workstation ISO. And now we're copying it to the location of where the virtual machine images are. This is so it's accessible to the next stage, which is installing Virt-Manager. Now I'm doing this on my workstation rather than on the server, and I'm not installing any of the virtualization tools, just the Virt-Manager graphical user interface. And there we can see it in our programs. So I'm going to create a VM. As you can see, fedc is already running. Go to File and New VM. We're going to install the ISO from the local location, which means the local location on Shinon. And when we press Browse, it brings up the list of image files. I'm going to be really generous. I'm going to give it 8 gig of RAM. The server has 64 gig of RAM, so this is not exactly going to break the bank or anything. And I'm going to assign it 2 CPUs, which I think means 1 CPU or 2 threads. 20 gig hard disk should be plenty big enough. And we're going to customize the configuration before we're finished and just check in to make sure that it's using the bridge. We'll give it a different name. And because it's a GUI, I'm going to put GUI in it, and the fin indicates that it's going to be my finance computer. So I'll be doing all my finance work on this one, from whichever workstation I'm working on. So I'm just typing in the details in there for my own benefit. We select correct operating system. That's okay, that's okay. Yeah, we want it to start up with a boot up. Yeah, fine, fine. We don't want to use Spice, we want to use VNC. Mostly because I don't have VNC installed. Mostly because I don't have Spice installed. And I want to change this from QXL to VGA, because the VGA, it doesn't require any hardware acceleration, and I think QXL does. And off we go, connecting to the virtual machine, and that means we need to now install Linux. I'm not going to bother going through the details. I've done this before, so there'd be no point. We'll just wait for this to finish, eh? And now we can restart it. The flickering on the screen is, I think, due to the weirdness of the Virt-Manager. I'm kind of hopeful that it doesn't do that when I'm using RDP. So this machine is now up and running fully. We do need to install the XRDP application and of course updates, which is what I'm doing now. love that message. It's a lot of updates. Now XRDP is installed. The next task is to configure it, which is done by starting it and then enabling it, and then to configure the firewall to allow traffic through the port, or it won't work. So to test it onto a Windows machine, and we just use remote desktop connection. Yes, I've tested it before. And we just log in as you do. And we're in. Now, it's actually really quite responsive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install my finance software, which is called KMyMoney. And I'll fire it up, but I'm not going to obviously set it up on camera. but you can see it working, and I feel quite confident that I'll be able to use it. Awesome. So I remember looking at this before. It basically shows what the processor's doing, or what the processors are doing, in fact. I thought it would be a good idea if I stressed out the virtual machines a little bit to see what would happen to this chart. So we'll start an Alice. So the package is called stress, and all it does is it hogs the CPU. So we'll install it on Alice first, and we'll install it on High Elf. Okay, to run the command, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that so I can paste it in the next window. And what's it doing? And we can see if we switch over to Sidon, we can see that it's hogging 3 threads, or 3 processors if you prefer. No, it's not, in fact, it's only hogging 2. Well, that's kind of interesting. I would have expected it to do more than that. Okay, we'll wait for it to finish and then we'll try something else. So obviously the one process is finished. And the other one's complete as well. This time we'll try sudo stress minus CPU 8. We'll try it in verbose. Timeout 90 seconds, and we will copy it. So we've got it in memory ready for the next one, and then we'll set it going. If we do the same on Alice, and if we switch back to Shinon, we can see that it's doing what I was expecting to do last time, which is stressing out 3 processors, or 3 cores if you prefer. I'm quite pleased with that, because that means the VMs are just using the cores that I've made available to them, and it's not doing anything other than what I was expecting. Or to put it another way, if I reserve 4 cores for the base operating system, which is way more than it needs, that leaves me with another 9 cores to use, which I think is quite useful. It's quite fun to watch the load average go up. Earn your money, earn it! So it looks like the one's finished, and there you go, the other one's finished as well. Awesome. I'm quite pleased about that, actually.